Welcome to Motivational Life Hacks with Van Leer.
Welcome back to Motivational Life Hacks. I am your host, Van Leer. Thanks for joining me on this Motivational Monday, where I provide you with the recipe for greatness. So, let's cook. For today's episode, I want to talk about something personal to me. A few episodes ago, I told you that I'm going to walk this path with you on your road to success. And in today's episode, I really want to focus on fear of success. I mentioned to you that earlier in the year, I decided to walk my true natural path. And I have known the path that I needed to walk ever since I was 7 years old. I want you to hear me. Ever since I was 7 years old, I knew that my goal and my true path was to bring greatness out of others. Just because I knew this didn't mean that I was exercising my true ability. And that was because of fear. Literally, the fear of success. That's not to say that I haven't been using my gift in all these years I've been on the earth. I have. I actually have. But I wasn't using it to my full potential. Guess what? You do the exact same thing when it comes to being successful. Not truly walking in your true path is not a good thing because you were put on this earth for a reason. Quite simply, we need to understand the difference between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. So, when we talk a growth mindset, again, I was afraid. I literally was afraid of success because I was afraid to grow. I was afraid to grow because ultimately I didn't want to be uncomfortable. Let me say that again. I was afraid to grow because I did not want to be uncomfortable. Because anything you're doing that is brand new, that ultimately you've never done before, yes, there are going to be times where you're going to be uncomfortable. And if you let this seep into your mindset, then obviously you're not going to progress. And when you don't progress, you don't grow. Mainly, a lot of people are walking around with what's called a fixed mindset, which means that they are resistant to growth. Their abilities are static. They're not dynamic. They're not ultimately trying to change. That can happen. And it can happen to the point where that gift that you were given, one day you wake up and it's gone. You even forget that you have the ability to, let's say, inspire people, which is my actual gift. And then all of a sudden, again, you're doing something else in life, not walking your true path. So today, for your life hacks, I really want to focus on the difference between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset and give you some tips and some hacks that will allow you to progress in life and to make sure you continue to walk on that road to success. So, the true definition of a growth mindset is the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort and learning. Let's talk about that. Effort and learning. Obviously, anything that you want to master, you need to practice it. And when you practice it, that means you're learning. That's all that means, that you're learning. You cannot be resistant to learning information that is going to help you to grow. That's important. If we want better for ourselves, we want the latest and the greatest in information that we need to be our best selves. And a growth mindset allows you to do this. You know what a growth mindset allows you to do? It allows you to embrace mistakes. In this path that I'm walking, where I'm inspiring individuals and trying to bring out the greatness in you, there were mistakes made along the way, especially when it came to this social media. I am so brand new into this. And even in just setting up what this is going to look like, I realized that on my path, I was doing things incorrectly. And obviously, I needed to get help. Obviously, I needed to learn. So that's exactly what I did. I got help. I studied. I learned. And I got better at my craft. You're going to need to be able to do the same thing. One, recognize the mistake, and then ultimately decide what you're going to do about it, and then execute those actions. Use those mistakes as fuel on your road to success, because literally they're put in place, believe it or not, to help you. If everything was automatically smooth, then everybody would be successful. And we all know that is impossible for everyone to be successful. So give it a shot. Embrace your mistakes, learn from them, and grow. Something else I realized on my walk to success: even though I come up against obstacles, I got to persist. I got to keep going. Even when I fall down or something didn't work out quite the way that I wish that it worked out, that doesn't mean that I quit. That doesn't mean that I give up. That doesn't mean that I begin to have these negative thoughts encompass my mindset and then slow me down from my true growth. You got to persist anytime you come up against an obstacle, because obviously the obstacles are either made to stop you or they're made to slow you down. Again, there is no law that says that you can't come up with an alternative route to get around that obstacle or go over that obstacle, or sometimes go through that actual obstacle. That's what makes this growth. You're learning as you go along. Something else that you need to understand about a growth mindset: you're going to be criticized. On this road that I'm taking, on some of my first social media posts before I actually posted it, I sent my videos to my friends and family. And I asked them for real feedback, not just saying this looks great, Van, or this looks good, or even saying it looks bad. I want the specifics. I wanted them to get down to the minutia to tell me exactly what they thought, because I needed to learn from the good and the bad. I would hear great things like, you know what, Van, I love your voice. It is so powerful. It is so inspiring. So obviously I'm taking from that. But also I would hear things like, you know what, Van, try to put more emotions when you're talking to the camera. Try to do more hand gestures when you're talking to the actual camera. So I took that to heart. I didn't say, you know what, they don't know what they're talking about. I've been speaking in front of crowds for years. Speaking in front of a camera is no different. Oh, it's different. And they were able to recognize that, provide me with real-time feedback. And when they're providing me with this real-time feedback, I'm accepting it in love. So I'm going to challenge you. On your road to success, first, you want to be able to talk to individuals who can give you real-time feedback and accept that feedback with love. That is your challenge, to accept the feedback with love. Something else that you want to take a look at on your growth mindset: you can find inspiration from others. An episode or so ago, I actually told you all a story that I heard from E.T., Eric Thomas. And it was one of the most inspiring stories I had ever heard. So that's one of the main reasons I wanted to tell you, because I knew that if this inspired me, wow, what would it do for my listeners and my viewers? And the comments that you gave me reaffirmed what I thought, that story was super inspirational. I used Eric Thomas as fuel to help me to inspire others. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with seeing someone that you admire, listening to them, or watching them, or learning from them, and then using that as fuel to help you in your walk to success. I call it each one teach one. Okay. So if you have those individuals around you, or you know of someone who has a level of success that you're trying to reach, nothing wrong with using them as inspiration as you walk towards your success. Now, as you are incorporating this growth mindset, effort is the path to mastery. I'm going to repeat that. Effort is the path to mastery, which means that you got to walk the walk. If you say there's certain steps you need to take on your road to success, you need to take those steps. And ladies and gentlemen, no shortcuts. The road to success wasn't designed to be easy. So you got to put in the work. You got to put in the hard work that's necessary to get to your goal of success. And the more effort that you put in, the more that you practice, the more that you do it over and over and over again, and doing it the right way. Remember, you want to do it and practice the right way, the easier it becomes. You know, when we think about sports, yes, a lot of times athletes are practicing because they want to get better at their craft. But you want to truly know one of the reasons why athletes practice and do the things necessary, training, etc. That's because they want the practice to be harder than the actual event. Literally, boxers go in a gym and they train hour after hour, hitting the heavy bag, jump roping, sparring sessions, running miles, etc., so that when they're in the ring and they're fighting their opponent, they don't get tired. They don't get worn out. Their skills are still sharp. That's because they trained harder than the fight. And we see this all the time in sports. We also see the direct opposite of those individuals that did not train, that did not practice. Obviously, they're not practicing a growth mindset, and this shows in their performance. Don't let that be you. You want to make sure you practice harder than the game. That means that you study and you learn and you implement things that are going to far exceed your expectations when it comes to your road to success. Again, we want to work a lot smarter. It's going to be hard work, but the more intellect that we can put into this process, the easier it would become for us to reach that goal of success. So that is the mindset you want to have, a growth mindset. The mindset that you want to get away from is the fixed mindset. Again, I actually was feeling a fixed mindset on my road to success. At the beginning of the year, when I sat down and decided to pen my book, I said to myself as I'm writing, I was like, wow, these are some powerful words, but just because they're powerful to me doesn't mean that it's going to be powerful to the reader. Then, what if this doesn't work? What if they don't like the words that you wrote in this book. Here we go down that road, but we got tunnel vision to the point where we don't see anything else. And we get to the point where we are almost encouraging failure, right? Putting those negative thoughts into our mind. That's not the way to do this. We need to embrace the newness of walking towards success. That fixed mindset person, they avoid challenges. That's what they do. They don't even want to have to encounter any challenges. But remember what I said. We need to embrace it because we're trying to grow. If you never come up against a challenge, how do you gauge yourself to see if you're growing? It's nearly impossible, right? Also, that fixed mindset individual, they have a tendency to give up easily. They do. Again, with me joining the social media family and me not knowing what I'm doing, it would have been easy for me to give up. Again, I'm mainly used to speaking in front of crowds. So now that I'm speaking in front of a camera and on social media, this is a whole new world for me. And so again, I had to practice my craft. But what if I didn't practice? And what if when I started this, I continued to have failure? What do you think would be going on in my brain? Of course, at some point, I would probably want to give up. Listen, listen, giving up is not an option. Giving up is not an option when it comes to you on your road to success. Something else fixed mindset individuals do. They ignore that feedback. They ignore that criticism. I thought about that too when I first started this. And I said to myself, okay, with you being on social media, you're going to get comments, Van. And I'm laughing because I was thinking to myself at the time, what happens when you get your first negative comment? What are you going to say? What are you going to do? But more importantly, how are you going to feel when somebody doesn't like what you said? I said to myself at the time, I'm going to embrace it. And not only am I going to embrace it, I'm going to respond. And not only am I going to respond, when I respond, it will always be positive because I want to have a growth mindset, not a fixed mindset. And just because somebody's not digging what I'm saying, that's okay. It's okay. You're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. There are going to be times where people don't like what you say, don't like what you do, and just overall dislike you. And that is okay. That is okay. You're going to continue to grow regardless. Something else that I want you to know that I noticed about fixed mindset individuals. A lot of times they feel threatened by others' success. Remember, a second ago, I talked about Eric Thomas and how I just love the way he's able to tell these stories and how he inspires the world. What if I would have felt threatened by that? What if I would have said to myself, you know what? I'll never get to Eric Thomas's level. Or Eric Thomas's voice is so dynamic and I just don't have the type of voice that he has that I feel that can be impactful. No, that's not the way to do this. You are individual, you are unique, and that's what people need to hear. They need to hear your uniqueness in your voice and in everything that you do. Eric Thomas is an individual. I am an individual. Can we learn from each other? Absolutely. But we should never be threatened by someone else's success. Never. Now, at this point, I want to give you some life hacks on how to cultivate a growth mindset because ultimately, If we're in that fixed mindset currently, we're going to work our way out of that. We're going to start today to change that actual mindset. Because again, we don't have any time to waste on our road to success. And the growth mindset is the best way to reach your goal of success. So, life hack number 1, emphasize learning over performance. That's right, you heard me. Emphasize learning over performance. All of the information that you need to be successful is out there. All you have to do is go and find it and learn it. And if you learn it and you practice it, when it's time to perform, you will be okay. You will be okay. Don't put the cart before the horse, though. Don't try to perform and you haven't taken the time to learn your craft. That's important. You want to be credible in the things that you do and the things that you say. And you become less credible when you don't study, learn, and adapt the things that are necessary to get to your road to success. Second life hack, you want to reinforce the value of effort. Effort is what's going to get you through. You want to put in that sweat equity, is what I like to call it, so that day in, day out, you're doing the things that are necessary. In other words, you're putting those building blocks in place to make sure you have a strong foundation with your success. And effort is going to help you to build that strong foundation. When you're building a house, it's not enough just to have that concrete slab, right? It's not enough just to have the walls and the roof, right? No, you want to paint the house. You need windows. You need furniture. You need appliances. You want a whole home that you can live in, not a partial home, right? So that effort is what's going to take, that you're going to need to actually get to the point of where you're going with your success. So I'm going to challenge you a second time. I'm going to encourage you to take risk. That's right. On your road to success, you're going to have to take risk and you're going to have to take on new challenges. That's what's truly going to make you grow. Once you step outside of your comfort zone and you do something you've never done before, all of a sudden, your mind goes into a different place. You become more focused. You really become attentive on where you're trying to go and what you're trying to do and what you're trying to practice, because this is new. That's the way life was designed, to get your attention when anything new comes up in your atmosphere. Embrace it. Take that risk. And remember, we're in a growth mindset and we're going to embrace mistakes, because when you take risk, oh, trust me, you're going to make mistakes. Just because you made a mistake doesn't mean you can't clean it up. So you want to encourage taking risk and, again, attempt new challenges. Next hack, you want to promote positive feedback and constructive criticism. Again, one of the best things I have ever done on my road to success is to get feedback from those around me. And I listened and I read the comments that they gave me about what I was doing, because I wanted to learn from that. I wanted to know, in their opinion, how I could be better. It's not enough for me to go inside of my brain and say, you know what, Van, this is good enough. This is great. Remember, that's that fixed mindset behavior. Thinking that, you know what, you don't need anyone. You got it all together. You don't have any more room for growth. You reach the top echelon of where you're trying to go. Oh no, there's always more room to go and more growth to see. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to encourage you to always work on having a growth mindset. This is the best way, in my opinion, for you to reach your goal of success. When we think about success, a lot of times we just think about it in monetary terms. So we want to make more money at our job, or we want to, build our business, so that we can generate more revenue. But that growth mindset and fixed mindset creeps into a lot of aspects of our lives when it comes to success. You can get complacent in your relationship. Think about that for a second. If you're with your significant other and you all are not growing together, what's really going on? What's really happening? Right? So, success doesn't necessarily always have to be about money. It can be about relationships. Some of you want to grow in your spiritual life. Well, what are you doing about it? Do you have a fixed mindset where you're not participating in any spiritual activities? Or are you logging on maybe to go to church online or going in person? Are you reading scripture or whatever it is that you're doing to grow your spiritual life? So success encompasses us in a lot of different ways. Your friendships, we think about the people that are around us. Are the people around us helping us to grow? Or they're continuing to have us stay in that fixed mindset? We always want individuals around us who wish us well and want the best for us. And the best means they want us to grow. So, ladies and gentlemen, those are just some of those life hacks that I know that if you incorporate going forward, you're going to grow. You're going to be better people. In that goal of success, trust and believe me, you're going to reach. So, again, don't forget, I do have a resource available to you. Let me show it to you really quick. 50 Motivational Life Hacks to Become a Better You, written by me. This book will change your life. Again, I have received feedback on a consistent basis that says, you know what? I read this book every single day, and it starts me off on the right path to tackle the world. I want the same for you. This book is available on Amazon via paperback, hard copy, and Kindle. And also, so super proud that I have actually placed this book on Audible. So stay tuned, watch this.
Ready to unlock your full potential and finally become the amazing person you're meant to be? 50 Motivational Life Hacks to Become a Better You is your personal roadmap to transformation. In this practical guide, Van Leer, a passionate advocate for self-growth, shares 50 empowering, easy to implement life hacks that are certain to help. Pick up your copy today on Amazon.com, and if you enjoy listening to your books, Audible.com.
So, for those of you all who maybe enjoy listening to your books on the way to work, or maybe while you're at the gym, please pick up 50 Motivational Life Hacks to Become a Better You on Audible. Well, ladies and gentlemen, again, I want you to have a fabulous week. Remember, as you tackle this week, you want to make sure you're using your growth mindset. Other than that, thank you for joining. Again, my name is Van Leer. We talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching Motivational Life Hacks with Van Leer. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next week.